video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to create what is called a wave of success and how this can totally transform your life if you apply it. Now, this honestly is one of the things that really transformed my own life. For me, creating, in a way, this momentum of success when it comes to what I've achieved on either you could look at it as far as like YouTube subs, or you could look at it as part of just like the impact that maybe you've seen my content has when you maybe see the comments and everything. And the reason I'm making this video is because also it seems very relevant that I'm here and there's waves behind me that are kind of crashing. Hopefully the audio is good and you can still hear it. I forgot a shirt in my car, otherwise I'd be wearing a shirt right now just to kind of address the elephant in the room. Now I gotta hold this instead of having this clipped to my shirt like I normally have. But what I want to do in this video is explain to you a reality transurfing idea. Reality transurfing, just for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like the law of attraction 2.0. It is like the Mac of the philosophies for creating our own reality. It's like the most convenient, it's the most transformative way of going about it, and it's one that's totally transformed my own life. I attribute me living in the kind of house that I do right now, for example, to this because I use something called outer intention, which is where I tapped into more so than just the inner intention of myself. I tapped into understanding the larger grid of the planet, of tapping into an understanding that just as much as I wanted the house, at the same time I imagined it as the universe wanted me to live there because of the kind of content I'd be able to create. So that was a technique that I used. I've used a technique called frailing, F-R-A-I-L-I-N-G. Frailing is a technique where you learn how to tap into other people's what are called inner intention. And I use that to actually get the house, because even though I'm only renting, in order to get the house, I had to, there was competition because there were 4 or 5 other people that applied for the house. So I ended up going and tapping into their inner intention because I knew that one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted someone that was going to be in the house that was going to respect their furniture. The reason I knew that was because when they asked for pictures of the current house I lived in when I applied for the house, which is kind of a weird thing, but it made me realize, okay, their value is that, or their concern is having someone keeping the house very in good condition. So I sent them pictures of my current house that I lived in, which everything looked really clean and everything was really good. And I also wrote them a letter tapping into that. So I know I'm getting a little bit overboard with explaining all of this stuff, but the fundamental basis is that these techniques work, not only for me, but also for everyone that has been applying the reality transurfing teachings. And I get messages every day from people saying how much reality transurfing has changed their life. So the concept behind understanding a wave of success, and maybe you've seen it also in my house where I have that of the tidal wave that is inside the living room at my house. That tidal wave is representative of that of what is called the law of success, or the wave of success, because the wave of success represents that of the momentum of the success that we're having. So let me kind of explain what a wave of success is through reality transurfing. Now, just to clarify, reality transfer, if you've never heard about it, it's a book that was written by a quantum physicist named Vadim Zeland in Russia. It's a book that explains parallel realities, of understanding how we shift from parallel reality to parallel reality, and understanding that we don't have to try so hard, that what we want to experience already exists. It talks about the energy dynamics of the law of attraction. And anytime we are really, really wanting something, we put it on a pedestal, and then what we do is we create resistance around it. So this kind of merges that of understanding Eastern philosophy with letting go of the outcome, and at the same time, understanding how to intend, which is a powerful part of reality transurfing. So kind of got that out of the way. It also has to do with understanding how to let go of social conditioning, because many of us are under the spell of social conditioning, thinking that we have our wants, but in actuality we have the wants of society and the conditioning of societal, of the way that people think. So this is about being aware of all those things. Now, when it comes to a wave of success, how do you create one? Well, with the reality transurfing concept or philosophy, it's about understanding that anytime something happens that increases our state of being, what that does is that increases our vibrational frequency. As it increases our vibrational frequency, what ends up happening is whatever thoughts we're thinking in that moment have much more power. If we have thoughts that are of a lower vibrational frequency, they don't have as much power. They don't have as much magnetic type pull. Now, our thoughts in general have an electromagnetic energy type reality to them. We may not actually physically see our thoughts until they become materialized, which anything you've seen in your life, by the way, at a certain point was, before it was materialized, you could see it, it was something that was more of an energetic thing. If you look around at a chair, the chair was first idea, someone thought of it before it was created. Now the idea is whatever we consistently think of, we begin to materialize it more and more. Now, anytime something happens, if we give it a positive meaning, we increase our state of being, which means we increase our frequency, and we start to put ourselves on a life track of more and more success. So for example, when something happens, if I give it a positive meaning, my state goes up, or if I at least like soak into the moment, I enjoy the process, my state goes up. As my state goes up, I'm shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality that is more conductive of that life track. So the idea is that there's an infinite number of these parallel realities that exist. What we think of as movement and what we think of as time is actually the movement through these different parallel realities. Now, here's the thing. Anytime an event happens in your life, if you give it a positive meaning, you shift to the life track where you get a positive effect out of it. If you give that situation a negative meaning, then you shift to the experience of the negative effect. Now, the thing is both of those probabilities exist right now in the present moment, but depending on one, our state of being, and two, the meaning we give this situation, that's going to determine which one we experience. Now, if you've ever seen that meme of the people that are on the bus, and on one side of the bus he's looking out, maybe I'll link it up if I remember, I'll link it up, and you see on one side someone's looking out the window and they see something really magical, and then on the other side they're looking through and they're seeing cliffs and dark and gloomy. Still the same bus, they're different perspectives, and the meaning that we give to each one of those different perspectives, or anything that happens in our life, is going to determine the kind of effect that we get out of it. Now that's what's empowering, because the truth is all the potentialities exist right now. Anytime you give something a negative meaning, know that the life track you shift to from that meaning you give it is going to be the effect you get out of it. So it's about being aware of it, because in the moment you're aware of it, you can choose to give it a positive meaning, and then you shift to better and better parallel realities that are more conductive of how you prefer to be. Now, if you want, in a way, what you can do is you can create your own wave of success. Let me explain to you how to do this. I think this is an absolute game changer, and this is what I did. Now, what I did is I simply decided that the different levels of things that happen, I gave them a positive meaning, and I started out small. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, anytime something happens, it could have been something as small. You can start this throughout your day right now. Somebody opens the door for you when you're going to the gym, you're going to work, whatever. Normally, you look at that and you go, oh, they just opened the door for me, no big deal. But if you look at it and you milk the feeling and you give it a positive meaning, you're like, this day is amazing. Somebody opened the door for me. Some other people care about me. We start to develop these positive beliefs rather than the social conditioning of nobody cares, right? But sometimes we block out things depending on our thoughts. You give it that meaning, you increase your state, you feel grateful for it, you then shift yourself to more and more life experiences that are conductive to that state of being, that meaning you give it, because then you create momentum. So the idea behind the wave is that you build momentum, it grows, and then it keeps on going, and then there's another wave of success. So in general, it's a funny thing too, because when I look at success in general, and when I look at like even YouTube growth, there's certain fluxes on a YouTube channel. There's certain waves that happen. So for example, a video might go viral, and as it goes viral, what happens is there's a huge amount of watch time coming in, there's a huge amount of influence and flux that comes in, and then all of a sudden, it'll die off a little bit, and then there'll be another wave of something else. So it's kind of funny how it works even with the algorithms in our reality. So it kind of works in so many different ways. But the way you can create wave of success for yourself is by doing things, putting yourself in a position to move in the direction that you want. And then what you can do is you can begin to give those things positive meaning. The more positive meaning you give those experiences, and the more you sink in that state, that vibrational state, the more your vibration will begin to raise. This is about understanding that that's how life works in general when it comes to success, when it comes to creating what is called that wave of success. Now, the idea is that when you're on that wave of success, ride it. Just keep going. It's like when you're in a flow state. You don't want to get out of a flow state. You want to just keep on doing it because it feels so good. The key is to keep riding that wave of success. The key is to keep on going in that direction, understanding that that's a part of the process. Now, here's the thing. If you find out you're on a negative wave, I don't know if there even is a negative wave, but if you're in a negative perspective of what you're experiencing, you want to diffuse the momentum, simply observe the thoughts. Observe those thoughts that come up. Don't give them negative meaning. Even if the meaning you give it is now I'm becoming more aware of what I think, then you're starting to gain your power back. But if when it happens, what you do is you give it that negative meaning, you're going to keep putting yourself on the infinite parallel reality tracks that are more conductive of that way of being. The truth is, all of these different probabilities exist, and what brings that probability into something that is more something that happens, like the way that you increase that probability is by focusing on it and feeling with it. Focus and feeling. Attention, intention. These two things with the vibrational feeling is what makes all the difference. Now, when it comes to vibration, one thing that I recommend you do is you lower your bar of expectation as to what you need to feel happy, what you need to raise your own vibration. It could be easy if you allow it to be easy. For example, what rules do I have about being happy? Do I need to accomplish a huge feat for the day for me to be happy? Do I need to do all of these things, or can I be happy for just getting up in the morning? Because then you can start to create a wave of success right when you wake up in the morning. Think of a wave of success like momentum, and you can create momentum for yourself by simply knowing that in every moment there is a decision you can make about the meaning you give things that are happening. And if you milk the feelings of the things you want to experience and you just focus on it, even if it just starts out small, someone opened the door for you, someone gives you a compliment, you do something else to someone else and make them feel great, and you revel in how that makes you feel, you're going to be taking your power back. That's about the awareness. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, is understanding the wave of success. It seemed kind of suited, fitting as well, because here I am at the beach and there's waves coming in and crashing in, and it's what made me think about it. Also, that wave, you'll see the picture in my house, the new picture that I got, that's kind of in the background, you'll see it, and what it is it's got that big wave that comes through. That wave is a symbolic representation of what that is, which is the wave of success. So that's something that any one of you can tap into by being more aware of the meaning you're giving situations in your life. Understand that all of those different things are probabilities that exist right now, and as you tap more into that, you start to gain your power back, and you start to literally shift yourself to those parallel realities that are conductive of how you prefer to be. Now, if you want to learn the other ways and techniques of reality transurfing, I'm going to link below the other videos that will help you, or the other techniques that will help you learn about that. They're the 3 most powerful reality transurfing techniques that have changed my life the most, and I'm going to go ahead and put that under this video so that you can check those out too. And you'll also get a house tour of my house and how I did it. In that video, there isn't the picture of the painting because I just got the painting, but you'll see it in the newer YouTube videos. I promise you that. So if you haven't already, also you can follow me on Instagram, and you can see stuff like this and like what I'm doing while I'm here. I'm meeting up with a couple different YouTubers and whatnot. If you're interested, follow me on Instagram. Also, I have a free vibrational meditation. I help you to raise your vibrational set point. It's absolutely free in the top of the description box below. Other than that, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so that you can see the daily YouTube vids. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.